Okay, G, let's start. So, in this video, we will revise basic concepts regarding the grade 8. Let's start with the algebra first. You may have questions related to these topics, which we are going to revise in your upcoming exams. So, let's start with algebra first. For example, the very basic concept that is going to be asked in your upcoming exam may be like expansion and simplification of algebraic expressions first. So let's have a question on that topic first. So first question may be expand and simplify, and the question will be 3x into x plus 5 minus 6x into 3x plus 2. Okay, this is the algebraic expression that you are supposed to expand first, and then you are supposed to simplify it as well. So as you can see, we have brackets. So whenever we have brackets, bracket means multiplication. So you will open the brackets and you will multiply the terms inside and outside the brackets with each other. So this term 3x will multiply with both of the terms that are in the bracket. 3x into x, you will get 3x square, plus 3 times 5, you will get 15, and x will remain as it is with it. Similarly, you will open the second bracket. Negative 6 times 3x, you will get 18x square, that will be with the negative sign. Similarly, minus 6 multiplied by plus 2, so minus plus minus, because the sign multiplication gives us as minus into plus is minus. 6 into 2 is 12x. So you are done with the expansion now. It's a time to simplify them. So we will arrange the like terms first. 3x square negative 18x square plus 15x minus 12x. These are the like terms. So when you are simplifying the terms, remember that first of all you will look on their signs, that if they have the same sign, you are supposed to add the two terms, but if they have different sign, you will always subtract the two terms, and with the answer you are supposed to write the sign of the bigger value. So here in this case, these two terms are with a different sign. We will subtract, answer will be 15, and with the answer we are supposed to sign of the bigger term, that is negative, so it will be negative 15x squared. Same with the second two terms. 15x minus 12x, you will get positive 3x, and this is the simplified form of this algebraic expression. I hope you got this on this question. Next one, we learned the algebraic identities, and you may have question in this form like x minus 3 into x plus 3. Question will be expand and simplify. So you may have two different methods on it. Either you can apply the identity directly, or you can go with the expansion, like multiplying the two brackets as we did in the previous question. But I will always suggest you to go with the shortcut way, because you will have at only 1 or 2 marks for this, so no need to write more than 2 or 3 steps. So we have an identity, if you remember, that is a square minus b square is equals to a plus b into a minus b. So now relate this identity with your question provided here. In the brackets, you have exactly the same values, but with two different signs, positive and negative one. So whenever you have this type of question, directly apply the identity. So when we relate this with our question, your a is x and b is 3. So I will directly write like a square minus b square. X square will be x square and 3 square will be 9. This is the answer. X minus 3 into x plus 3 will give you x square minus 9. This is the very important identity that you need to know, and you need to revise it as well. Then we have another type of identity that may be asked in the exam, that is, write the identity first, and that identity is a plus b whole square. A plus b whole square. These two identities have a clear difference with each other. So remember, in the previous you were having individual square, but here you have a whole square. A plus b whole square will be equals to a square plus 2ab plus b square. So now if I give you a question like regarding this identity, if a square plus b square is equals to 9 and ab is equals to 24, find a plus b whole square, or find the value of a plus b whole square. So now you will simply copy the identity that is provided. A plus b whole square is equals to a square plus 2ab plus b square. Slightly rearrange it just to put the values in it. I can write b square first before writing 2ab. So I will write a square plus b square, and the middle term, that is 2ab, I can write it at the last, which is 2ab. It is exactly the same like the previous step. There is no difference with them. So now put the values. As you can see, a square plus b square is given as 9. So I will write under whole of this as 9. So these two have value as 9 that is provided in the question. Then I will write plus 2, and the value of ab is also provided to you, that is 24. So I will write 24 here. 9 as it is. 24 times 2 is 48. So you can add these two, and this will be the value of a plus b whole square. 9 plus 48 will give us 57. It means a plus b whole square is equals to 57. These are the basic algebraic identities that you need to revise before your exam. In algebra, this is the basic part, and you will have question on these topics as well. Now it comes to factorization, and then we will go with the algebraic equations as well. For factorization, you will be provided a quadratic expression as well, or maybe the linear one as well. For example, let's start with the quadratic one, x squared, and here we have 45, for example, and in the mid I have 13, sorry, not 13. If I write 13, then this should be the negative sign. Let me change the question a little bit. If this is negative 45, and here I will write positive 13x. Okay, and you are asked to factorize this. In order to factorize the algebraic expression, as you know, we have three different methods. First one is taking common, second one is breaking the middle term, and the third one is applying the identity. If you focus, we don't have any common in these three terms. Then we will move with the second method, that is taking breaking the middle term. So we are supposed to break the middle term. For breaking the middle term, you will write first and last term as it is, and then you are supposed to multiply first term with the last term. When I multiply 45 with x square, you will get 45x square. Now find the factors of 45. Such two numbers, when you multiply, this should be 45. Number 1, 45 ones are 45 is a 45. Number 2, you have a factor of 45, that is 15 times 3 is 45. Okay, I need to change a question a little bit. Sorry, there is a mistake in it. 15 times 3 and 15 minus 3 will give us 12x. So here should be 12x. Okay, so these are the factors. When you multiply, it should be 45, and when you subtract these two, you should get 12. So if I multiply 15 with 3, it will be 45, and when I subtract 15 and 3, you will get 12x. So these are the factors which we are going to use here. I will write 15x negative 3x. So in this way we will break the middle term. After breaking the middle term, we are supposed to take common from the first pair, and common in the first pair is only x. So remainder will be x plus 15. And then I will take common in the second pair. So you can see 3 and 45, they both are multiple of 3. So I will write 3 as the common. You will get x, and when there is a negative sign outside the bracket, you will change the sign inside the bracket. So minus minus will give us plus, and 15 divided by 3, 45 divided by 3, you will get 15 here. Now x plus 15, x plus 15, this is the common bracket. I will write it once, x plus 15 here, into, in the second bracket I will write the remainders, that is x minus 3. So this is called the factorization through midterm breaking. This is a very important topic that you need to revise, you need to practice it. These questions, it will be the part of your exams as well. Okay beta, then it comes to, you need to solve the quadratic equations. Like you will have a same question, but in that you will have equal sign. This was the expression only. If we have an equal sign in it, we can solve that equation for the values of x as well, and we can plot its graph. If you remember, the graph of a quadratic is always a parabola, a curve, minimum or maximum curve. You should know the nature of the curve, you should know the turning point of the curve, you should know the line of symmetry of the curve as well. Let me give you a review on that as well. So if I have an equation like 8x square, and at the end if it is 3, and here I can write 10x is equals to 3. This is the quadratic equation, and we are asked to solve this. Okay, solve for x. To solve the quadratic equation, again you will use the middle term breaking method, or you may also use the quadratic formula for the solution of a quadratic equation. But midterm breaking is the most easiest one. Write first and last term as it is. 8 times 3 gives us 24. The factors of 24 that we are going to use here is 6 into 4 is 24, and 6 plus 4 will give us 10x. So I will write 6x plus 4x. These are my factors, and when I will take common here from the first pair, the common is they both are divisible by 2, and x is the common as well. So I will get 4x plus 3. And if I see in the second pair, there is nothing common. When there is no common, you can write 1 as the common term. So you will get 4x plus 3 in the bracket as well, is equals to 0. Let's simplify it further. So we will get 4x plus 3. I will write it once. And in the second bracket, we will write 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. At this stage, when you got the two factors and they both are equal to 0, you will take them equal to 0 separately, or you will write 4x plus 3 is equals to 0, and 2x plus 1 equals to 0. Now just isolate the x from both of the equations. At here we will get 4x is equals to negative 3. Positive 3 is shifted on the right side, it will become negative 3, and 4 will be shifted there as well, so it will be divided negative 3 over 4. And in this case we will get 2x is equals to negative 1, and x will be negative 1 over 2. These are the two possible values of x. Okay beta, so in this way we can solve the quadratic equation. Okay, now uh, let's give us a review on the quadratic curve as well. For example, let's this is a quadratic curve. What are the main points that you should know about the quadratic curve? If I am having a quadratic curve like this, for example, it's just a rough sketch, not a proper curve or not a question. So the things that could be asked in this question is, these are the very basic or important things that you should know about a quadratic curve, which I'm marking with a cross sign. This is the x-axis and this one is the y-axis. First thing that may be asked is about the y-intercept. So remember guys, y-intercept is a point where your graph touches the y-axis. Let's suppose this is 6, this one is 1, and this one is 3. So if they ask about the y-intercept, then y-intercept is 6. Y-intercept is what? It's 6 for this question. Remember, y-intercept is a point where your graph touches the y-axis. And if they ask about the x-intercept or the x values, so quadratic curve always have two values of x. So those two values of x are 1 and 3 because this graph is touching the x-axis at two different points. So these are the x-intercepts of this graph. And if they ask about the line of the symmetry, you are simply supposed to draw a line which should pass through the center or that should divide the curve into two equal portions. That is called the line of symmetry. This is line of symmetry. And if they ask about the nature of the curve, if the curve is a U-shaped, that is called minimum curve. Which one? Minimum. And if the curve is like this, N-shaped, that will be the maximum curve. So these are the basic points regarding the graph of a quadratic equation you should know, and you are supposed to answer them in your exam. Okay, so this was all about the expressions and equations. Now let's have a quadratic linear equations in order to rearrange. Like you have a question, y is equals to 3x plus 5 over 2x minus 3, and you are asked to make x as subject of the formula. Make x as subject of the formula. Make x as subject means isolate the x. So you are supposed to isolate the x in it. Okay. So we are supposed to make x as subject of the formula in this question. So as you can see, we have a fraction on the right side. Whenever you have a fraction, you are supposed to cross multiply in order to make them simpler. So I will multiply this y with 2x minus 3 and 1 will multiply it with 3x plus 5. Now again you will expand the bracket, you will get 2xy minus 3y is equals to 3x plus 5. As you can see on both sides of this equation, we have values which contains x. So it means the x values should be with each other first. Let's rearrange the x values or collect them on the same side. So I will write 2xy here, and that positive 3x will be shifted here. It will become negative 3x here is equals to 5, and this negative 3y is shifted on the other side. It will become plus 3y here. So we have just collected the x values on the same side. Now at this stage in the on left side we have two terms which contains x. So it means x is the common term. Let's take x as common from these two terms. If x is common, we will left with 2y minus 3 is equals to 5 plus 3y. So now we can isolate this x by just shifting this 2y minus 3 on the other side of the equation. As you can see, this is being multiplied with the x. On the next side, it will be divided. So x will be 5 plus 3y whole over 2y minus 3. And here you go, x is the subject of the formula. I hope you got the question as well. Okay, the next thing that we can revise is coordinate geometry, the very important topic. In coordinate geometry, you should know y-intercept, x-intercept, gradient of the line, and equation of the line. So let me give you a question. For example, this is the grid and we have an equation, this one. This is the x-axis and this is the y-axis. For example, this is 4 and this is 6. Very important thing, you should know the direction of the line. When the line is downward or it is going downward, it will have a negative gradient. Remember, don't forget about it. It will have negative m. M is the slope. And if you have such line like which is going in this direction, it will have a positive gradient. So be very clear about the direction of the line. Next thing, if these points are mentioned on x and y axis, you should know how to write their coordinates. Here the x value is 6 and y value is 0, because on the x axis y is always 0 and on the y axis x is always 0. So here x value is 0 and y value is 4. So you should be very clear about this. If only one value is mentioned, you should be able to write the other value. Okay, if the graph is provided to you and you're asked to find the gradient, just write rise over run. Through graph, you can write the value of gradient by writing the ratio in between rise and run. Horizontal distance and vertical distance. Vertical distance is always called rise. This is called rise, and horizontal distance is called run. So in this case, rise is 4 and run is 6. But before writing the final answer, you should know this is the downward sloping line. So we will write negative sign with it. So you will, after simplification, you will get negative 2 over 3 as your final answer. And that is the gradient of this line. I hope you got how to work out the gradient of a line. The next very important thing is finding the value of the C. C is called the y-intercept, where your line touches the y-axis, and in this question, in this graph, C is equals to 4. Now you can write equation y is equals to mx plus c, y as it is, value of m is negative 2 over 3, x as it is, and the value of c is 4. So this is the equation of this straight line. I hope you got the concept how to write the equation of the line. Okay. After this, I think we should revise the sequences, number sequences. In sequences, you will get only the geometric or the linear one. The quadratics aren't the part of your syllabus. So be very clear about the sequence. You may be asked questions in two different ways. For example, you will be provided a sequence like 3, 5, 7, 9. And if they are asking just the next term, so there's no need to write the formula, not the general form, nothing. It will be a 1 mark question. So if they are just asking the next term, observe the difference between these terms and everyone can get clearly that the next term will be 11. Just write the 11. But if they are asking about the formula for the nth term, or just they are asking find nth term of this sequence, then you are supposed to do this working, that first of all find the difference. 5 minus 3 you will get 2, 7 minus 5 you will get 2, and 2 as well. It means difference is 2. So that that sequence is called the linear sequence, and the general form of the linear sequence is a plus d into n minus 1. Now you're finding the nth term. Tn is called the nth term of the sequence. A is always the first term of the sequence, that is 3. Difference in this sequence is positive 2 into n minus 1 as it is. So 3 plus 2n minus 2, opening the bracket. And now simplify 3 minus 2, you will get 1 plus 2n. This is the general form of the above sequence. In this way, now you can find any missing term by using this nth term of this sequence. Secondly, you may have sequence in term of fraction, like if I write a sequence 3 over 4, for example, this is the first term of the sequence. Next is 5 over 6, and then next is 7 over 8. You should be able to write the next term of the sequence. When you have this type of question, you are suggested to relate or take it as two different type of sequence. One sequence is running in the numerator, this is the first sequence, and the second is running in the denominator, this is the second sequence. So take them separately. In the first sequence we have a difference of 2, 3, 5, 7, so next will be 9. And in the second in the second sequence, that is the denominator, we also have a difference of 2, so 4, 6, 8, and then the next will be 10. You can go in this way. In this you will not ask to write the general nth term or the general term of the sequence. Okay, so this was all about sequences. Our next topic is probability. In terms of a probability, you should know that what is the sample space, S dot S. Sample space is just listing the all possible outcomes. For example, our experiment is tossing a coin, So the sample space, the possible outcomes of the tossing a coin are head and tail. This is the sample space for tossing a coin. And when you are rolling a dice, then here the sample space may be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Let me give you a question like this is the table, for example. Okay, in this table, this is the number, and here is the frequency. Frequency means repetition, how many times it is being repeated. We are doing an experiment 50 times. How much times? 50 times. For example, uh, we are rolling a dice 50 times. So dice has numbers, only four numbers, 1, 2, 3, and 4. For example, 1, 2, 3, and 4. This is a special dice which contains only four numbers, four sides, and they are numbered as 1, 2, 3, and 4. We are rolling it 50 times. So every time we will get different response. For example, we repeated the experiment 50 times and we got the value of 1. मतलब 1 जो आया है वो for example 15 times आया, ये 10 times आ गया, so that now it's 25, or this has appeared as like 10, 30, and this also appeared as 10. So you are asked to find the probability of 2, for example. So 2 is appearing 10 times out of 50 times. This is the probability because we are repeating this experiment 50 times and we observed that 2 appeared only 10 times. So 10 out of 50 is the chances of 2. And if I say even number, probability of the even, so as you can see in the table, there are two evens, 2 and 4. 2 is appearing 10 times and 4 is also appearing 10 times. So 10 plus 10 out of 50, which is 20 out of 50. This will be the probability of getting an even value. Okay, dear. The next topic that we are going to revise is area and perimeter. So if I say about area and perimeter, this exists only for 2D shapes. So you should revise the most common, that is circle, semicircle, quarter, rectangle, triangle, parallelogram, and trapezium. You should know how to work out their areas and perimeter. Perimeter is the simple thing, like taking the sum of all the boundaries is called the perimeter. But whenever you have a composite shape, like you have a shape like this, for example, This is the shape that we are dealing right now. In such case, you are advised to divide the given shape into two or more than two, whatever the possibility is. Divide them into different shapes. Now, if I divide these, this is rectangle 1 and this is rectangle 2. Now I can easily take out there, if this is 5 centimeter, this is 10 centimeter, this one is 2, this one is also 2. Now I can work out the missing values. So this must be, just take it 4, not 2, it's so smaller, take it 4. So now the total is 6 and the remainder will be this side, this length will be 4, this will also be 4. If I want to take the area, then I will take the area of these two rectangles. First one is 4 times 5 and the second rectangle is 10 times, just take it this one as 4 as well, 10 times 4. So this will give us the area 20 plus 40, which is 60 squared centimeter. And when you are finding the perimeter, just add all the boundaries that are in black color. You will get the perimeter of this rect these two rectangles, sorry. Okay, if we have this question like a triangle and a semicircles are attached with each other, this they are 10 centimeter, this is 20 centimeter. You are asked to find area and perimeter. So in this case, area will be triangle plus semicircle. Triangle is 1 over 2 base times height, plus semicircle is pi r square divided by 2. Now put the values in this. Base of this triangle is 10 centimeter and the height is also 10 centimeter because they are equal. There it is provided in the question. Pi as it is, radius of the semicircle will be half of 10 because 10 is the diameter and radius will be 5 square divided by 2. Simplify this, you will get the answer. For perimeter, you have two straight lengths and one is the arc length and arc length of semicircle. So you will add these three, 20 plus 10 plus. For arc length, remember the formula is 2 pi r, and if it is the half of a circle, divided by 2. Now just put the values. 20 plus 10 will be 30, 2 cancel, pi times radius, which is 5, and you will get the final answer. In terms of volume, you will get 3D shapes. For example, the most common 3D shape that we did many times is the cone and cylinder. This is height of the cone, this is the base radius of the cone, and this one is the slant height. The slanting line is called slant height. It is represented by L. For example, this is 20, height of the cone is, let's suppose, 15, base radius is 7. To work out the volume of the cone, the formula is 1 over 3 pi r square h. This is the formula to work out the volume of the cone. In this case, radius is 7, so square of that, and height is 15. The L is called slant height, and slant height is used in order to find the total surface area of the cone. So if I put the values in this, it will be 1 over 3 pi 7 square multiplied by 15. You can simplify it in your calculator to work out the volume of this cone. But for total surface area, remember one thing, the total surface area means area of all the visible faces. And for a solid cone, there are two visible faces. One of them is called the curved face and the second one is called the base face, which is the circle. So formula for total surface area of the cone is pi r L plus pi r square. This is the area of the circle. That is the bottom of the cone, or you can say the base area of the cone. Now put the values in this. Pi as it is, radius of the cone is 7, slant height of the cone is 20, plus pi times radius square, that means 7 square. After simplification, we will get the answer for the total surface area of this cone. Next thing is, uh, like if I say a cylinder, this is the cylinder. This is called the height of the cylinder, and this is called the base radius of the cylinder. Formula for the volume of the cylinder is pi r square h, and the total surface area of the cylinder, it has three faces: pi r square plus 2 pi r h, and again plus pi r square, because it has two circles, bottom and the top are the circular faces and the mid is curved face. So these are the formulas for the total surface area of the cylinder. हाँ जी, percentages. Okay, regarding the percentages, I want to make you clear about one thing is that you should know by finding some percentage of any quantity, like 20% of 80. So when you are asked about this, just write 20 over 100 multiplied by 80. Simplify this, you will get the answer. Next thing is, someone has some savings in his saving account and you are asked about the interest, or you are supposed to find his zakat amount, for example. This is the important thing, like zakat we learned in our class as well. You should know the zakat rate, that someone has saving of $250,000. Okay, this is a huge amount of saving. So the amount or the rate of zakat is, it is a fixed one throughout the Islamic religion, is 2.5%. Rate is what? 2.5%. This is called zakat rate. Find his zakat amount, how much zakat he has to pay. So just find 2.5% of his value, which is 250,000. So you will write 2.5 divided by 100 multiplied by 250,000. In this way, you can work out the zakat amount that he has to pay. The next thing is related to agriculture, that is called usher. Okay, you may be asked to find the usher. Usher is a term which is also an Islamic term. It is related to crop yield. Okay, usher is related to crop yield, and usher rate is also a fixed rate, that is called 10%. What? Usher rate is 10% of any crop. Like you harvested any crop in your farm, you have many farmlands, so you are yielding some crops over here. So like the total value of your crop is 500,000. $500,000. That is the total value of your crop. After selling in the market, you have got this amount. This is the total value. So now you want to pay the usher. That is an Islamic term. Okay, you want to pay the usher. So usher rate is 10%. So you are supposed to pay the 10% of your value, that is 500,000. So 10 over 100 multiplied by 500,000. Okay, beta. So these are the two Islamic terms related to percentages. Usher rate is 10% and zakat rate is 2.5%. Then we also have some other terms that bank charges to us, that is called interest. When you take a loan, or when you borrow some money from bank, the bank charges you an interest. For example, you are borrowing, or it also gives you the interest when you deposit some amount for a time period. It gives you an interest, like you are depositing an amount in your saving account like $500. This is your saving. sorry, only $500. You are depositing this amount in your bank account. The bank promises you an interest of rate like 6%, that it will give you 6% over the year for the whole year, and you are depositing this amount for 1 year. What amount you will get after 1 year? So interest, the formula for interest is equals to I is equals to PRT over 100. I stands for interest amount, P stands for principal or your investment, R stands for rate, T is the time period over 100. So here your investment is 500, that is P, rate is 6, time is 1 year over 100. This will give you the interest amount. These are the basics of percentages. Next thing is, you buy a car, you are buying a car for like dollar 2500. Okay, and the value of the car, as you know, the value of every item decreases with the time. It depreciates like 6%. Value is decreasing by 6% every year. What will be the value of the car in the next year? When you have this type of question, I always suggest you to use old versus new. Old rate of the car is 2500, new rate we don't know, old percentage is always 100, and the value is decreasing by 6%. So 100 minus 6 will give you 94. Cross multiply it, you will get the value of the car after 1 year, after decreasing by 6%. So 94 times 2500, so x will be 94 times 2500 over 100. Simplify this, you will get the answer. I hope this video will help you a lot in the revision of your exam series. So do practice these topics especially, and also keep practice on the other topics that we have studied in